What's going on guys, HDvee here. Today's top 5 carries on from last week's, in which we spoke about Pokemon that deserved a pre-evolution or baby form. Continuing on from this, today's top 5 looks into Pokemon that just deserve a regular evolution. Since Pokemon Sun and Moon were announced, most people are just talking about the Mega Evolutions that they want to see, and nobody's really touched upon regular evolution. We know that cross-generation evolution is possible because quite a handful of Pokemon received evolutions in Gen 4, such as Piloswine into Mamoswine and Magmar into Magmortar. Looking at this, I think it's about time GameFreak stepped their game up and gave evolutions to those Pokemon out there that are just lacking that extra bit of power. So with regards to all that, this is my top 5 new Pokemon evolutions in Sun and Moon. Let's get started. At number 5 we have Ruby and Sapphire's Pikachu spin-offs in Minun and Plusle. These mice have huge potential to get a new evolution because they're just lacking that extra bit of power to make an impact in the competitive scene. There are also a few options for what these two could evolve into. Firstly, they could evolve into an equals Pokemon. Makes sense, right? I'm no mathematician, but plus, minus and equals seem to get on pretty well. This Pokemon could have the colour magenta on the tip of its ears, seeing as blue and red mixed together make that colour. The second option is that their evolutions could combine in the way that Plusle's evolution becomes blue and Minun's evolution becomes red. Just a few ideas for these Pokemon, but pretty solid ones in my opinion. Number 4 brings us Dunsparce. Now I don't know about you, but to me, Dunsparce's design kinda looks like a cocoon and should have evolved into a sort of dragon or flying type ages ago. His little wings and the colour of his body seem pretty mythical and really scream out this idea. Getting access to Coil and Roost give it a slight competitive edge, but it just lacks the stats that would give it a real chance in battle. I think GameFreak have missed out on a huge opportunity here to create a really cool looking Pokemon, and I really hope they show some love to Dunsparce in Pokemon Sun and Moon, or at least somewhere down the line. It'd be pretty foolish to just leave this Pokemon how it is. The pathway to evolving Dunsparce wouldn't even be difficult to come up with. Evolution simply through level up would be fine, but if GameFreak really wanted to get creative, then Dunsparce could evolve after learning Roost at level 25. At number 3 we have Cressola. I really like the design for Cressola and really think it deserves a evolution in Pokemon Sun and Moon. If Pokemon Sun and Moon are based in Hawaii, which a lot of people believe it will be, I think GameFreak will be showing a lot more love to the water Pokemon, and cute little Cressola needs a handful of it. Cressola gets access to Natural Cure, Regenerator, and moves such as Recover, so could be used as a really good wall in competitive battling if it had the stats to keep up with the rest of the higher tiers. Also, if it had an evolution, it could also hold an Eviolite, which would just make it even more bulky in a lower tier. Number 2 brings us Quillfish. Quillfish is a great hazard setter in the lower tiers, having access to moves such as Spikes and Poison Spikes, whilst also having access to Intimidate. But if this Pokemon were to get an evolution in Pokemon Sun and Moon, then it could easily become one of the best hazard setters in the games. Quillfish's defenses are pretty poor, so having an evolution would also enable this Pokemon to use an Eviolite effectively, meaning it could also become a fantastic wall as well. Having a poison water type enables this Pokemon to have a field day against steel and fighting types, which can be a huge threat in OU. Something cool about Quillfish though is that it also gets access to Swift Swim and already has pretty decent attack and speed, so an evolved form of this Pokemon would be an amazing addition to any rain team. GameFreak, why haven't you given Farfetchd an evolution yet? Just why? It's such a bad Pokemon and it's had to deal with the abuse since Generation 1. This Pokemon's stats are bad, its abilities are bad, well except for Defiant, but Farfetchd isn't really going to do much with that now. Come on, let's not kid ourselves. People have been wanting an evolution for this Pokemon for ages, and I really think it deserves one in Sun and Moon. If Farfetch'd speed and attack were given a bit of a helping hand, then it could generally become a threat after setting up a Swords Dance. Yes, you're not hearing things, I really just said Farfetch'd could become a threat. And that's everything. The Pokemon on this list mainly need an evolution just to make them more of a threat in the competitive scene, or just because it's way overdue. Needless to say though, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and if you did, please leave a like down below, I really do appreciate it. If you have any other ideas about Pokemon that need a regular evolution, please comment it down below. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. I have a few other top 5s coming onto your screen in a second, so please check them out if you have the time. That's everything from me though, so thanks for watching guys, have a nice day, and I will see you in the next video.